Okay, guys, we are live. Woo!
Woohoo. Hi.
Hi, stream.
Hi,
Hello.
East Rain.
Right, let me text Viking moderator to check us.
Game moderator.
Yeah, cool. Okay, and then the Discord notification should come in at some point. Yay! Okay, guys, welcome back. Thank you guys for joining again. A couple technical difficulties there before we started, and I don't know about y'all, but my week's been a whole lot. So that's just par for the course at this point.
Really?
Last time, though, we had an amazing time. We got to experience a new class. I'm not going to get too far into that because we're going to have a really great recap from our professor. Just a couple quick things that we as a group have already discussed, but I want to go ahead and put out on the stream and on the recording as well. So Professor Quantico was given a opportunity they could not turn down. The actual internal magical constitute, the people who are in charge of all new spells, new magical technology, all of those things, finally recognized olfactionary magic for the brilliance that it was. And they asked if the professor would come on a permanent sabbatical to show them not only, his expertise in the subject, but also teach the basis of it to the internal magicians so that they can start putting it at schools everywhere. We wish him the best, but also understand that his schedule, unfortunately, will not match up with that of BTA any longer. And hopefully he'll get to join us in the future, maybe once or twice, but we obviously understand that things happen. Speaking of things happening, the the class that we spoke about at the very beginning, that is very specific to the Bermuda Triangle Academy, elementalism, has long gone without a true professor because our brooms professor, Professor Odendaughter, has been covering it. She's pretty good at the magic, but it's definitely reached the point where she can't handle it any longer. So luckily, news has come from our very own other professor, Yara Sunbearer, to let us know that there is actually someone within the Atlantean tribe that can teach the subject for us and take a little bit off of the shoulders of our brooms professor and add to our lovely faculty. But we'll get into that after our recap. Speaking of, Tat, you're giving us our recap tonight. You ready for that, for your faculty log?
I am and I am.
I'm going to turn
Yes,
it over to
Lord.
you then, and then I'll lay the scene for our new professor to show up.
Okay. Greetings, my bold students and fellow coworkers. It's me, your thoroughly soaked Professor Quentin Briarscratch here, still wringing seawater from my beard after that first class of mine. Um, Down in the sea critter stables. Thanks to Professor Z, his brilliance in taming a sandy patch of chaos into a proper classroom for me. I had the privilege of introducing you guys to the wild art of bull shark riding. Think longhorn cattle, but with fins, foul tempers, and horns that could intimidate a sea dragon. A little sweet talk and some bribery goes a long way with these fellers. Um, as a non-magical fellow in a school bursting with spell slinging everybody, I was kind of a bundle of nerves for my teaching debut. But the sight of Professor Brooke and Kepler and the other staff watching from the shore kind of got me through it. I did have a twinge of sadness that Jara wasn't around, but I'd hope to see a radiant smile in the crowd. But I suppose tides of duty pulled her elsewhere. First, a groveling apology to Professor Brooke and Kepler and the rest of you who uh, braved the sidelines. I kind of failed to warn you about the splash zone. I thought it might be a fun little additive to the room. Um, they got the sharks. They turned the shore into a maelstrom, and I owe you a stack of drying charms uh, for your robes. Deepest regrets. I'll hang warning buoys next time. The class launched with a splash, quite literally, and my first student, Jacob Jacobson's, uh, clambered onto one particularly surly shark, and I can kind of still hear our exchange as they gripped his massive horns. He said, I said, Jacob, clutching my clipboard, hold those horns tight and claim and charm that beast with your grit. He said, shakier than a jellyfish in a whirlpool. Are you sure this shark isn't plotting my demise? No, nonsense. It's practically knitting you a scarf, I said, winking at the shark, giving it a thumbs up. And wouldn't you know it, as soon as I gave him the thumbs up, he sent that boy flying. Anyhow, most of the class went that way. Kid gets on, they end up doing something spectacular either up on the beach or in the water. If we only gave points for that. Then one student, her name's Talia Frost. She's an absolute prodigy. And I'm going to keep an eye on her. Not just in the class, but maybe as someone that could help me with more of my opinionated residents. And behind me, there's a large plesiosaur. And as soon as it's noticed, it immediately dives under the water. As soon as it's mentioned, rather. And with that, I hope I'm able to continue showing these bright minds the wonders of sea creatures.
Fantastic. That was almost as fun as our last game where we all got to experience it. Looking out for those warning buoys next time we join down at the beach.
Yeah, I'll get on that. My bad. Well, Z, mark that on something I need for my lists.
Yes, Professor Holloway will definitely assist with that to the best of her abilities. Perfect. Well, it has been about 4 or 5 days since you guys had that first class and got to witness this and support your fellow staff member. And now you guys are meeting up in the library. You guys are going to have a bit of a faculty powwow. Not everybody's going to show up. It's going to be mostly our core group. Specifically, partially, I should say, because Yara did send ahead that unfortunately she was delayed further than she was supposed to be. Some internal conflict things that have to do with her role within the Atlantean tribe. That's why she tends to take a couple days, a week or a month off to go back into the island further away from the castle, deal with all those things. However, in her stead, she has sent someone ahead who is actually going to be joining the faculty and who is going to be taking over the elementalism professor role. And she's very excited for all of you to meet them. Also, there's been an uptick in sightings, rumors, all these fun things that you guys keep hearing about the Lemon Butter Gang. It's gotten to a point where even the headmaster has gotten a little touchy, twitchy. He's been patrolling the halls a little bit more. He's been very on edge. No less than 20 students have been given hard detention for being found with either dehydrated lemon dust or whipped butters or some other herb concoctions and contraband within their robes. It's been a very dark week. And that being said, also joining our powwow is going to be Professor Vork, who might have some insight and has said that they could potentially help out with some of these things and the uptick in all of this contraband and black market things that are really making it hard for you guys to do your jobs. So that being said, obviously, Alyssa and Thelvanius, you guys would be in the library. What do you think that Thelvanius would be feeling with all of this sort of like uptick in the Lemon Butter Gang and the things like this? Especially because a lot of them have been kind of caught in the library and you don't really have anything to do with it. So how's Thelvanius feeling about that?
I think he honestly kind of the book that they found last week.
Mhm.
He's he he's kind of split between his normal research and then this new book that he's found on the ley lines and stuff. And so having to then kind of deal with this on top of what he finds important,
Mhm.
he's kind of I think he's a little strung out. He's not this he they're also invading his um like safe space,
Mhm.
getting caught. Um, and he is very much of the opinion that if you're gonna do something stupid, do it somewhere else. You know,
Absolutely.
you're in his space now. Um, so I think he's a little bit kind of like frazzled, very frustrated, and like, why the library? Why does it have to be the library?
Yeah, no, for sure. I could understand that. I mean, the library is not just your, favorite part of the entirety of the castle, but it is your safe space, like you said. And for them to like impart that upon your safe space without even asking you. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure the packets of dehydrated lemon for your tea is a nice offering, but is it really worth all the trouble?
No, not anymore.
No, no, they said no.
I'm starting to like look at coffee and go, maybe I can go without my tea.
It's a dark time when the librarian says maybe they could go without their tea. Perfect. Well, that being said, um, I'd love to turn the floor over to our newest player, Josh, because especially given this being your introduction, I'm sure that your character would maybe want to show up pretty early for this sort of faculty powwow.
Absolutely. um, currently Thelvanius is the only one there, right?
At the moment, yes. We'll have people showing up kind of periodically, but Thelvanius sort of lives in the library as much as he possibly can.
Fair. So into the library walks a um 5'6", like lean, built. Uh, they are from the island, as mentioned, so they have somewhat of a tanner complexion. Um, Bald head, no sort of facial hair or anything. Wearing like a loose, kind of flowy white shirt and some like loose, flowy brown shorts and sandals. They walk in, and following like just over their shoulder is a amorphous like sphere of water that has an electric eel swimming through it. That just kind of floats behind their shoulder, and kind of like a bubble would, it warps and just flows as it would.
Mhm.
And they walk in, um, and will approach wherever Sylvanius currently is. Um, Hello. I'm a new member of faculty. I was told there was going to be some sort of meeting here. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I when you said your or no, when Emma said the name, what was the name,
Okay.
Professor?
Sorry.
I did not,
Uh,
sorry.
Apologies.
Oh, okay.
We are Professor Gale.
Okay. I did like I just wanted to make sure that like he's kind of spacey, but I was like I wanted
Yeah,
to make sure I
it
wrote
was
that
not
down in my
mentioned,
notes.
so you're good.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Um. So I think you walk in and find Thalvanus kind of like nose deep in probably this new book and taking notes, things like that. And please forgive me. But he's going to look up and look past you and see the water bubble in his sacred space of books, and he's just kind of like,
Oh,
I, I,
apol-
I sorry, that was rude of me. It's been a week. Um, these books are my life. I saw the water. The look on my face. That was disrespectful. I'm sorry. Um, I'm Professor Thavedis, Blackwind. Um, yes, this is where we are meeting today. What was your name?
uh, our name is Gale, and this is my apologies for the water. I thought that um, I would have thought that the headmaster would have informed you. Um, I did get prior permission to bring my companion into the library. I assumed that he had conferred with you beforehand. I apologize. Um, if it is an issue, I can have them leave
No.
if you would prefer.
Uh. The headmaster may have told me, and sometimes things don't get mentioned. So not. No, I just. It was unexpected. I'm fine with it as long as he doesn't drip anywhere. And then
Uh,
you'll see him kind of like, because last week there was a splash zone and he had to create a bubble around this book to protect it from getting wet. So you'll see him kind of like it up, and kind of like, I don't want to say hug it, but kind of like protect it. He's really trying to be like subtle, but
there.
it's not working. Um, yeah. Make yourself at home. You're early. Uh, People around here like to arrive on time or late. Um, so you and I will probably be always arriving at the same time during meetings. So welcome to the early club.
Well, thank you very much for the welcome. And one more detail, as Gail has gotten closer and you're like conversing with them, um, their eyes at first impression are pure white, but seeing them up closer, deep within, is like it's like a rolling cloud of mist or clouds right before a rainstorm.
Wicked.
Um,
Awesome.
and they will take a seat. And don't worry. I have complete control over the water. If anything does, if it won't get anywhere it shouldn't, but in the event that it does, I can very easily collect it and assist in drying and maintaining any of the books or precious items here in the library if something should go wrong.
And then I think the next thing you'll see Thalvedis do is kind of like look over your shoulder, in almost a kind of an anxious way, and be like, "Oh, are you aware? There's also a ghost that is evidently he's my ghost now, because that's where he hangs out with Lucky Me. Um, Reggie is our ghost in this area. Also, and I'm looking around for my familiar, which is a raven. And Itzy is around here somewhere. And depending on their mood, I'd keep an eye on your water. They're
Okay.
yeah, they can be jerks
Okay.
sometimes.
The
What?
ownership of Reggie was just said with the same amount as like When my fiance says, "Yeah, I'm her adopted introvert," like that was the same level.
Yeah.
Resigned, kind of like, yeah, it's true. This is mine, I guess.
While you guys are sort of going through this introduction and just poor Thelvanius being thrown through the ringer this last week and whatnot, um, I rolled, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna pick on Quentin Tat, so he's gonna arrive next to the library.
Oh shit, am I late?
Well, it depends. I don't think so. Usually, I think after the headmaster decides to show up is late.
Mm.
So I think you're on time. Maybe.
Good deal, good deal. So Zara's not here?
Nope,
No?
just us.
Well,
And Professor Gale, you would have at least some form of a message from Yara because obviously she was the one who sent you ahead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, unfortunately, Yara was delayed with some tribe business. But we were sent ahead. We were originally going to accompany them on their travel here, but given the vacancy in the elementalism department, it was deemed best that we arrive, even though Yara was delayed.
I mean, she would know best, right? Anyhow, what's this about today, anyways? Anyone know? Is it from my class? Am I getting fired? They wouldn't fire me yet, right?
No.
I don't think so. I haven't heard anything.
I mean, nobody got seriously hurt.
Did anybody get hurt?
I don't think so. I mean,
You're fine.
a few of them landed on the beach, but it's sand.
Yeah, that happens on normal days. You're fine.
As you guys are speaking about this, I'm going to say, Rowan, your character is coming down the hall heading towards what phase are we in today? What wonderful persona do we get to deal with today?
So we're in what Professor Yarrow lovingly calls their babbling brook phase, which is their more feminine phase. Their hair's long, uptight, curls just like bouncing around their face. They're still mostly human, except for like two big old wolf ears. Kind of think anthropomorphic, like cat girl, but wolf girl kind of thing. Um, and this is where they are presenting as Brooke. They're just kind of like sleepily. It is still way too early for Brooke to kind of just like wandering down the halls and kind of like ever so often like bumping into a wall and then and almost like a Roomba that's not quite gotten the map of the place, just like bumping and turning around, bumping, turning around, bumping. Um, until she eventually gets to the library with a big old jug of coffee in her hands.
I love to hear it. I'm gonna, just for shits and giggles, I'm gonna say that as Brooke is making her way down the hallway, one of those bumps is actually into a person. The person that you bump into is our wonderful guest star for the evening. Mark, thank you for joining us. And would you like to tell us who you are taking over for the evening? What professor we are in charge of?
Yes, this is, you bump into Professor Vork, who is, as everybody knows, a shapeshifter, a changeling. Currently, he looks like he's had this form for a little while. He tends to sort of stay in forms for a period of time. But currently, he has long, curly, kind of brownish red hair. Very kind of like fine features, fine straight nose, eyes that are like constantly looks like he's about to start crying. There's just like a little bit of wetness in there. Not that he's sad, just like very like he's ready to take a do a photo shoot. And they're the color of sort of like bluish green almost. He is wearing a shirt, like a pirate kind of shirt, like deep V, nothing underneath, kind of like very broad-shouldered, muscular, but not like in a bodybuilder kind of way, in a very like toned, model-esque kind of way. And as he bumps into you, sort of tosses his hair and says, "Oh, I'm very sorry for that. Are you all right? Can I help you?"
We
Oh,
can't
you're
hear you,
muted.
Ron.
Yeah. They're trying to fix it. They just put it in the chat that they lost their audio.
Yep.
Um, we will jump to that response in a second.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes.
we
Yep.
can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. So, Brooke just barely like registers that she hit a person, a little bit of coffee slurping out on you, and just goes, "Oh, I was so sorry. I was a little bit tired. It was a long night. Usually, I was basically like staying up all night studying some of the astronomical things that were happening in the sky. You see, like Pisces, it is in Mercury and in retrograde. You know, I'm the astronomy teacher. I gotta know a little bit about the stars and the Helios bodies, and like, and I think Professor Vork, because you have known Brooke before, you know that they are the type of person that is gonna keep talking until you cut them off. So they're gonna continue. She's continuing to babble about like astrological stars and how the comic tails are like streaking across the sky, and like casually like dabbing up a little bit of the coffee she like dripped on you, and just keeps going.
He just sort of puts a hand on your shoulder and takes the thing you're dabbing your coffee with. He's like, don't worry about it now. It's all right. You tell me about the stars later. I think we're
Oh, right.
running late for this meeting.
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry, the meeting. Yes, the meeting about the new professor that's coming in. I'm not quite exactly sure why the olfactory professor went now. I mean, I get it, kind of get it, because olfactory is kind of like the new unique thing. Maybe people who really want to smell good. Maybe they finally realized how smelling really well is going to be very good for everything. I always need more coffee on this side of the cycle. I just, you know what I mean? Like, maybe I can get some more from Thalvanus and the like lemon butter king, and like get some more lemon drop tea kind of stuff. But oh crap, I shouldn't say lemon around here. I know, Mr. Cudmaster is gonna get me. Anyway, you're right. We have to go to the library, right? To the library, and it is, and they kind of like shuffle a little bit, like a Roomba terming, and just start going that direction.
Oh, I love it. You guys enter upon the library. You come in as Thelvanus and Quentin are kind of going back and forth. Quentin about whether or not they're going to get fired, with Thelvanus going, I don't actually know that anyone's ever been fired. What does one do to get fired around here? That sort of conversation. As you guys enter, this meeting was actually a little off the books. The headmaster doesn't know that you guys are here. This was brought up, yes, because we have a new staff member, but also because of the things that we've already talked about with the Lemon Butter Gang. So as you guys kind of have your small talk, kind of huddle up this smaller portion of the staff, a few minutes after this, Professor Holloway comes in, Z. She, in her frazzled glory, her big curly orange hair, has today more leaves in it than anything. Probably was outside at some point. And she comes kind of whisking in. And she scans through everybody, does a double take on the new professor, and goes, oh, yeah, right, that's right. There's supposed to be another new professor. And she is currently in her hands clutching a thermos. And she keeps like shifting it between hands as if it's very warm. And then as she continues shifting, Brooke, when her eyes land on you, she goes, "Oh, I brought this for you because I remember you telling me that the further in the cycle you get, the more grumpy you get, and like the more coffee that you want. And if you don't like it, it's totally fine. I understand. I just wanted to like I thought it'd be a really
I
nice
think
thing."
Brooke just like puts a finger over her lips and goes, "Shh," and then takes the cup out of her hand and puts the cup in and then like just plucks a little leaf out of her hand and goes, "Oh, did you know actually this particular leaf is kind of rare to the forest. Actually, I think the like rare earthworm, the silkworm that they make like very special like embroidery silk, like Rhea Bride silk actually makes this kind of like this leaf is where you got this from. I don't know. That's typically on the west side of campus. I'm not sure you would go on the left side of campus." And is like drinking in between, like telling you facts about this leaf that you had in your hair.
And
Just like
Z
yes.
kind of comes to terms after, of course, her whole face goes just bright red at the contact. Yes, yes. So I'm sorry to call everyone here under some false pretenses, but I'm actually the one that put out the bulletin for the meeting. I think that this gang warfare that's been happening at the school is about to come to a head. I heard some rumors and whisperings about some of my students, and well, I don't know how else to say it, but there's an opposing gang now.
Wait, an opposing gang. Do they snap? Do they dance in weird formations? What kind of opposing gang are we talking about?
And Z goes on to explain to you guys that the last couple weeks, in all this time that the Lemon Butter Gang activity has been going up, she's been hearing rumors from her students about something called the Dairy-Free Opposition, which is apparently a rival gang. And it has been around for a little bit, but it hasn't really been heard of. And now she's hearing a lot more of it because of how prevalent the LBG has been the last couple of weeks. And she's going to turn to the room and she's going to say, "I called all of you here because I know that each of you has kind of dealt with the Lemon Butter Gang a little more recently. For Thelvanius, they've been using your library, and I don't think that's very fair. And I know that, Brooke, you said the other day in your class that they oh my goodness, what they like left something under one of the desks, and they almost got you caught in something you didn't have to deal with, and it's been all over." And then she's going to turn to Professor Vork, and she's going to say, "I heard that you could change your appearance at will. And I thought maybe that would be helpful to us in possibly infiltrating either one. But if the rumor that I heard yesterday was true, this new dairy-free opposition is trying to find the place that the Lemon Butter Gang has their center of operations, and they're trying to take them out in one fatal swoop."
Is that so? That is true. Of course, I can change my appearance. His hair sort of like slowly starts to change a little bit more red, just like for effect. Might I ask, where have you heard this rumor from? They're trying to find the lair of the Lemon Butter Gang.
Yes. So there's a group of students, particularly in my middle class first morning, and I have them twice a week in Transfiguration. It's not my advanced class. It's more like my mid-level, the ones who aren't going to take it after their, first 3 years of school. It's obligatory, all that fun stuff. She starts babbling off to basically say that there were a group of 3 students that had stayed after to finish up, and then she had left the classroom, and when she came back, she basically kind of stumbled into the end of their conversation and heard that they particularly were a part of the opposition and that they were tired of the abundance of all of these contraband lemon and butter products and all the trouble that it has been creating for this school, and that they wanted to try and take it out at the source.
At this point, Gail is going to speak up. Are you concerned about this actually becoming violent and posing a danger to your students? You mentioned one fatal blow.
Well, I mean, I
Or
don't.
is this more childhood rivalry, such things?
Unfortunately, I'm not very sure. You see, I'm still relatively new to the school. That's why I kind of called you guys all here again. Sorry for the false pretenses. I just thought that you guys, being so directly affected, perhaps that you could assist me and I could offer my information. And just, of sorts. And I thought you being new and I thought we could include you because, you're new, I'm new. And, I remember if it wasn't for when I met Brooke in the first couple of days, I would have very much been, alone. And she's going to kind of babble off on that a little bit.
I think the
Well,
ladies is gonna interrupt her a little bit and be like, okay, so the group is the dairy-free opposition. So are they gonna take out only the butter part of the gang and leave the lemon alone? Or do they have something against lemons too? Or are they just against contraband?
I wish I had more information. That's kind of why I was hoping that we could maybe work together, put our heads together, and figure out. I don't know how possibly we could infiltrate either one or both. But that was kind of the hope, because as I'm so sorry, I did not actually catch your name. The new professor. I sort of just came in on a wild wind and.
Of course. Our name is Gail.
Very,
It is a
very
pleasure
nice.
to meet you.
You as well. Yes. I'm Professor Holloway Zarina, but I've always hated my full name. It was after my great aunt, and she was a little bit of a witch with a B. Anyways, semantics. It was very nice to meet you as well. But as Professor Gill was saying, I'm not sure if this is just childhood rivalry or if something real could come of this. I didn't even know that the Lemon Butter Gang had a center of operations somewhere in the school. I mean, where could they have possibly found this? What are they doing there? How could it have happened under our nose? It's just all very worrisome.
I mean, if they're churning the butter themselves, we're gonna see some kids coming out a little more ripped than usual. I promise you that.
I wonder,
Unless
and
they do it by magic.
oh, true.
Oh yeah,
Well-
I kind of forgot you folk can do that kind of stuff.
Well, typically, in order to get milk, you have to have some sort of lactating animal, like either a cow or a goat or a sheep or a combination cow, goat, sheep, or perhaps if they are being very kinky, some sort of other lactating mammalian creature of some sort, unless they have somehow managed to somehow crossbreed a fish of something and given it a million mammary glands in which to, produce some sort of lactation of some sort, or they're liaising with something that already does that, which I hope would be the better option for them of some sort,
Well,
because
the closest thing to like cow milk in the sea is from sea cucumbers.
sea cucumber milk.
So many
I and
questions.
you can get
think I
milk
just
from.
gave up dairy.
Indeed, on a recent trip, I actually discovered a lot of what this dairy-free gang is talking about. I've seen their posters around and whatnot. But you can get milk from an almond, and I can assure you, I've searched, and an almond doesn't have any teats. You can milk it though. There's milk from. I don't know exactly the process, but you can get almond. You can get. I don't know, but you can get milk from oats also, and there's all sorts of milk that is nae lactated, as you say.
This is the one
So
that breaks
many
me,
options
guys.
out there.
It's not the lemon butter gang. It's the talking about milking nuts. I just
Well,
anyway.
I wonder if you know, if the dairy-free gang knew that you could milk from the teats of almonds, if that's or lack of teats of almonds, they would have less of a problem of it. Sing kumbaya, and then the contraband can continue to come in.
Well, one fact: where in the world are almond trees growing in this island beach?
Well,
Aye,
let's
that is the
go.
question.
Um, everybody give me. Let me pull up my sheet as I've gotten so pulled aside. Everybody give me a brains, please.
I just crit.
Oh. So
I got a 2.
Oh, so did I.
love it. Alyssa, don't forget if you hit your top number, you roll again and add to it in the Kids On system.
Okay, so I'm rolling a d20.
You roll it again and you add to it.
Oh, okay.
Sick.
Okay, so that is 26, 36, 42.
Okay. I love that for us. I absolutely
I roll
love that for
5.
us. Okay. Rowan, what'd you get?
You know everything there is about almond trees.
All of them. Yeah.
I'm very confused about why almonds don't have titties.
Yes, that's what we've been stuck on. Got it.
Yep.
So as everyone except for Thalvanius starts kind of putting your heads together and in good faith, Professor Gale starts trying to talk about like the crops that you guys have in the tribal areas, and like where possibly this could work. Professor Work starts talking about the last time they went on sabbatical and they didn't actually become like a historical figure. They just spent like 6 years with a farming family and got to learn all of that. Brooks is still trying to figure out if almonds had tits, where would they be? Quentin's trying to jump in with like some of the topographical of everything on the island. Like you guys are trying, but as this is all happening, Thalvanius, you remember, and you kind of remember this just, you're sitting there and you've had a week, you're kind of disassociating a little bit and you're not really paying attention. Your brain started to kind of go back to the ley line book that you've been researching. And then you remembered a history lesson that you gave a couple years back, specifically about the micro magical movement, which is when there was an uptick in micro charms, basically taking things, making them smaller so as to save space and resources. It was something that came out of one of the Irish schools because obviously they're a much smaller location, and the school itself actually was able to create a miniature self-sustaining farm. And it started as like a student project, and it was something that went on to actually sustain the school itself and save on time, resources, and things. So this is sort of coming to the forefront in your brain. And you also remember that at the end of one of your classes, you gave them the last like 20 minutes of free study before they left. And you remember there was a girl, probably like second row of the class, upperclassman, who was like it looked like she was drawing a map for all intents and purposes, but it looked like she was really trying really, really hard to like remember directions, and she was kind of trying to like put them out. And you vaguely remember that it looked a little bit like some of the underground grotto locations that branch off from the main grotto where new students are dropped off. So those two thoughts kind of come to the forefront of your brain as everybody's talking and doing things.
Hey guys, I just remembered. Okay, so like, there was an Irish school, um, and they became kind of famous for this study of making things smaller, um, like micro charms, so they could bring supplies in, not use up the space, create things, grow things, and then size them back up, and then kind of become self-sustaining. And they made like a farm.
So
Um,
miniature cows.
Like micro farms. Amazing.
Micro titties.
miniature almond trees, I guess too.
Oh.
That's how you get the titties on the almonds.
Okay, stay with me here, Brooke.
What?
Stay with me.
I'm
Um,
focused. I'm focused.
And then as I was doing this topic, and I kind of I, I give them the last 20 minutes basically, so I don't have to talk anymore, and they can use it to do whatever they need to. You all know that time, um, but and this actually works kind of well because um, the professor that just went on sabbatical and I think we were going to share a TA, but this actually kind of works with because they were working the olfactory thing. So I'm going to use that student that we kind of like created
Absolutely.
to do that. And what it is I think they split their time. They're identical twins. One is Marie Rose, and the other is Rose Marie. And the only way you can tell them apart is one has freckles on the right side, one has freckles on the left side. And I can never remember if it's my right or their right. And that's Rose. But I think Rose Marie was sitting in the front row, um, kind of mapping out. I, I think it was the underground grotto. And her sister or her, we can never really tell until they're in there. But I think they switch classes between this one and olfactory. So if they're working on it, I would think there might be something there. Not necessarily almond milk, but something with it.
So you're saying that you can shrink me, per se, down to like a micro knot size, and I can start like a whole new city inside of a what do you say, square inch? Bigger than that? Smaller than that? What are we talking here?
I don't, and like, Emma, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if they did like living. I don't
They
know if they
they
did like
they did
animals,
living
but I think they did like
things, but it was only to an extent. So basically it was like you were starting to say, sort of farm animals and then
more
like
like
crops.
crops and
Yeah.
simple
Yeah.
like things. So I don't know, like
Doing
you
it
could
on
definitely
humans
take
would
a
be
tree
yeah.
and shrink it down to, I'm talking like a full size lemon tree,
Mhm.
30 feet tall maybe, and shrink it down to like an inch tall, 2 inches tall, depending on how good you are at charms. This is not my area. I just teach people about it. So somebody that knows about charms would have a much better idea on that than I would.
Z will pipe up here and go, Well, I obviously my specialty it lands in transfiguration, but I did study charms for a little bit. Um, it's actually quite fascinating to speak because I do remember the study that you're speaking of. It was quite a big deal in the Irish school actually. It's pretty groundbreaking. It was a combination of transfiguratory magic, charms, and also a bit of summoning actually. Professor Vork, that's your specialty, correct?
Oh, yeah, that is my specialty indeed.
Yes, it's a very intricate combination. Um, it's odd. You'd think that they would need almost someone with like a mastery of, well, oh gods, at least one of those to make that happen. Um, that worries me further because if these poor students are doing this, it could potentially lead to magical backlash, safety concerns, and oh goodness, all of this is happening under our noses. That's a little worrisome.
Vork at this point has like turned his chair around. He's sitting on it backwards and he's like leaning over the top of the back of the chair, which is in front of him.
Yes.
And he says, while this is all very interesting, might I propose a proposal as you do?
Mhm.
It seems to me like the main problem with the lemon butter gang is the issues with the contraband and whatnot. But if we could, as these, what are they called now? The dairy free opposition? Perhaps we could replace the butter with dairy free alternatives and perhaps find a lemon alternative. Which we'll have to think about. But in any case, if we could maybe lend our support to the to the opposing faction, we might sort of naturally push out the lemon butter gang's business, as it were. Uh, what do y'all think of that? He sits back and leans his chin on his hand.
Professor Brooke, who has finished like the entirety of the cup and is now neatly like balancing it on her head, just goes, I wonder what that would mean because I think it's ultimately the Hand Master that has ultimately banned it, and because he's a crab, and I assume that the reason that he doesn't like it is because crabs can be boiled with butter and lemon, and that kind of like it emasculates him being a crab and whatnot. But I wonder if can you boil a crab with like non-dairy butter and non-dairy lemons? Is lemons dairy like oranges? I think it might come up with the same thing, but maybe he's just particularly biased towards the butter and the citrus and the I'm for it.
Um, yeah, I think everyone knows that while the headmaster is pretty all powerful, like you guys have all heard varying levels of not only his magic but his like prowess and power. This is like the one stickler for him, like lemon and butter. That's where it ends, and no one's really figured out why. Um, but Professor Gale, your tribe has some rumors and some things about certain food and product, um, not only creating maybe issues with magic, but also amplifying. It's actually something that your people have sort of like looked into just a little bit.
Okay. Have do am I familiar with anything from my people specifically related to lemon and butter, or just there are foods that help and foods that can hurt?
You could give me a brains roll, and I'd be happy to try and give you some more information than what I already have.
Sounds good. 12.
Perfect. Yes. So you do know the statement that you said already, which is that there are specific not just foods, it seems to be organic things in general that either create a better conduit or a blockage of magic. Um, your your tribe specifically, the Atlanteans go farther back into history than most people understand or know. Um, and this is something that they, were aware of in the world prior to even when they left the real world and created this little pocket dimension, so to speak. You know that there are specifically some like foretellings. One would even go maybe so far as to say like prophecies from some of your tribe's seers, talking about how prevalence of certain, not just foods, but organic materials could create sort of chaos or issues within heavy places of magic.
Well, according to some of the knowledge that my people have, some organic materials can cause problems with magic and the people who use it. And given that, Emma, I'm familiar with the magical sickness, right?
Yes, yes. Everyone
I would
is
assume that. Okay.
aware of the magical malady that has taken over the world. It's mostly um, how much each person believes. Like, some people think it's kind of a hoax. Some people think that it's not as prevalent as what everyone's making it out to be. That's sort of what the real question is each person's individual belief.
Okay. So this could be quite a leap of quite a leap, but maybe there's more to our headmaster's dislike of lemon and butter than merely the fact of his ancestry. What if it is possible, maybe, that either lemons and butter, or he believes lemons and butter, could be one of the things causing this magical sickness? That's a leap, but or maybe it is just that he doesn't like the fact that those are things that are used for cooking. But either way, it could be related.
Yeah, it's a good theory.
Mm.
Would Thalvanus know if there's a correlation between the uptick and any sickness happening here?
So, sort of like we talked about in the beginning, the Bermuda Triangle Academy is one of the few places that this magical sickness doesn't seem to be reaching. There's a couple different theories behind it. Thalvanius has actually kind of been looking into some of it, especially with the new leyline book that he's received, because the original placement of the Atlantean tribe was over top of not one, not even two or three, but five major magical ley lines, which only happens in certain places throughout the world. When they created the pocket dimension, they took that same magical centering as like a conduit point, and so that stayed. And so that's sort of something they've been building a theory on with looking into this book. But they haven't run into anything specifically talking about nothing speaking on like lemon or butter or even organic items. Although in theory, they do know that exactly what Professor Gale said is correct, that there are certain things that can create like blockages or better conduits.
When I'm like my numerology bestie is like popping into the back of Thalvanus's head with like the weird prime numbers. And so I think he's just kind of taking notes and like referring to the ley lines and the book and stuff, and he'll kind of lean over to Gail and be like, "Do you know about ley lines? Like, is that in your like realm of expertise?"
I have some familiarity with them. given the position that I have taken here, my specialty is very much in elementalism, but given the origin of some of the island and its magic and the correlation with the ley lines, I do know a little, but I wouldn't necessarily call myself an expert.
Then I think after this, I need to pick your brain a little bit to see if this book that I've just recently obtained, and maybe this organic matter, not necessarily lemon or butter, but if those things placed on any of those ley lines can accentuate or deteriorate or block or whatever, like whether that seems like it would be an issue,
Certainly.
or maybe he just doesn't like lemon butter because he's a crab. But
It's currently my theory.
yeah,
Exactly. Certainly. We would be happy to discuss that at a later date and see if we can collaborate on any sort of theories or working out how things are interacting, for sure.
Okay.
You said something about the underground caverns. We think it is worth it as teachers, as chaperones, as the ones figuring out what's wrong with this area? Do we think that we should probably go ahead and check them out? See if there's any sense of citrus wafts of almond teddy.
Oh.
Well, I could, as someone so expertly suggested earlier, I might disguise myself as a student. I have never attempted such a maneuver in the past, of course, but I could try it. See if I could suss out the citrus and the milk, as it were. See what I could find.
I just want him to stop using my library.
You got to stop taking the lemon packets as bribes, then. Perhaps.
It's not a bribe. I don't take bribes.
Right. Collateral. Perhaps.
Right, and is this really just is this really like something we need to is take precedent here? I mean, what are we really trying to do? Stop this butter trade, or just lock some students up? What's the deal? We could just go bust them all.
Well, we have to. We Professor Z is going to speak up, and we have to find where they're centered first. I think that's kind of a bit of the first of it. And as I stated, I mean, kids will be kids, and students will be students. There's always going to have some friction, some people who don't like one another, all of the like. But when one's talking about going to this level of particular violence, of maybe taking a whole other group out, or destroying, even if it is an underground, well, it's not drugs, but an underground drug ring, so to speak. It's just a worry. I feel, as faculty, it's our due diligence to keep the students safe, even from one another.
And the books.
Professor Brooke
The books, yes.
pats your shoulder and or puts her hand on your shoulder and goes, I agree. We have to make sure that the children are safe. That is the number one duty that we have as professors. So perhaps we bust the ring, give them a talking to of some sort. Maybe not arrest them all, but figure out the cause and perhaps de-escalate as we should, because we are adults.
I mean, I think the easiest way to solve this problem would be just
Steer them
legalize
towards
lemon and
something.
butter, right?
Yeah, just steer them towards making something else.
I like dairy-free alternatives. Good idea. I do agree with all of you, though. This has gone a little bit further than originally planned, as it. So we definitely do need to take action. for sure.
I'm gonna give our players a chance here. Professor Vork, I need you to give me a charm. Now,
Gladly.
I am going to give you advantage because you have information that I provided you previously. So in this case, what that would mean is you can roll twice and pick the better. And then everyone else, or whoever would like to attempt, is going to be an opposed charm. So you're also going to roll charm, and you're going to try and get a better number than our Professor Vork.
Okay, 'cause
So this would be, is this magical or just charm the stat?
This is just charm. There's no magic happening here. It's mostly I'm giving you guys the opportunity to suss out some information.
Okay. And we're rolling at disadvantage?
No. You guys are just normal. Professor Vork is getting advantage because of some previous information that he has been provided.
Okay.
I got a 7.
Oh,
I exploded
13.
twice.
Jesus.
Nice.
Uh-oh.
1.
14.
You just think that Professor Vork is so pretty. You're very taken.
Very much so.
What did you say?
Deepest of V's.
The deepest of these.
Tat, what did you get?
A 14.
Okay. Mark, what did you end up with?
Well, I rolled a 22.
Okay.
So it's very, very charming, lad.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you guys think that 100% what Professor Vork said sounds very reasonable. None of that wording seemed odd at all to anybody. And you are fully prepared to kind of let them assist in whatever way possible.
Happy to help, of course.
Yeah, of course. We have to, ensure that everything is accounted for and our students are taken care of. So I'll lead the way,
Indeed.
Professor Wood.
Okay.
Oh, are y'all coming with me then? Very well.
I mean,
Unless you
I don't know how
can
much help
disguise
I'm
my
going to be.
absence.
I can't do what you guys can do. Is there... I mean,
That might be true,
right.
but they actually trust you because of that. I mean, every single one of my students comes in complaining about the fact that they don't get to, ride pleiosauruses in my classroom and we just have to talk about boring old stars.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
How would you guys like to go about doing this? There's a couple different options. You have obviously been presented the option of the grottos. There can be some people searching that. There is definitely some subterfuge that could be had here. I'll be a benevolent force of nature and say there's actually currently a very large group of students that are in hard detention because they were found with contraband. So you could potentially take a disguised Vork to there and try and suss out some information. You could also try play good cop, bad cop, or just bad cop with some of the students and see if you get anything out of them. You guys kind of have a couple options here of what you'd like to do.
You have a couple plesiosaurs. I would be happy to help extract some information.
The baddest of cops.
Thought that was good cop, but
Depends on when they last got fed.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be good cop, for sure. I'd rather ride some pleiosauruses than stay in detention. I like the idea of using a front. Maybe we have one of us go into the detention, and with Professor Vork, who is disguised as a new, or perhaps a detention person that we already know goes there, but is not currently in detention. We try and make people convince about if they can talk anything about the Lone Butter Gang, using the plesiosaurs as, bribery, and anybody who is not easily bribed, Vork is our backup plan to discuss thoughts.
We could pull a specific student out of detention and attempt to interrogate them, while Vork imitates them, goes back into detention, as that person and tries to get information
Mm,
as that student.
Brilliant.
And
Brilliant.
That sounds good.
Okay. So let's make up a student. Let's say an upperclassman.
Cynthia
Cynthia.
Duclaw.
Cynthia DeClaw. Love it. Which of you do you feel maybe would have Cynthia in your class? Unfortunately, my elementalism professor cannot because they're new, but
yep.
Um, I could have her in my class.
Okay.
Professor Brooke.
perfect. So let's say, Professor Brooks, you're going to go and get Cynthia. And then after a few moments, Professor Work, you're going to go back as Cynthia. So, who would like to be a part of Cynthia's interrogation?
Yes.
I would.
Yes.
I was like, Dalmatis might be too close to this. Like, there's a part of him that's ready to lock the library, and then go to the like as soon as they said detention, he was like, "Oh yes, they're all stuck in a classroom," and he was like ready to walk in there and just start yelling, like not about the gangs, but like, "Why are you using my library?"
Good cop, bad cop. Good cop, bad cop.
I mean, that's also an option because the thing is it's very easy for that maybe to come in as like the overseer of the detention and start lecturing them, and then that gives Vork Cynthia sort of an opportunity to talk whilst this is happening.
I'll do, yeah. Well, I'm good for it.
I love it. Okay.
Really?
So there's a couple things that I'm going to need. I am going to need a Rowan, I'm going to need a grit from you. This is just to try and have Brooks act normal when pulling Cynthia out. And then I'm going to need another charm from Vork. This is just for you to not only change your appearance, but to see how well you're going to emulate Cynthia. And then Thalvanius, after I get those rolls, I'll give you the choice. I will take either a fight or a flight from you, and this is for your performance to go in and kind of like get angry, all those. But I will give you advantage on yours because Thalvanius, I could see him being very like legitimately upset about this. So I believe that you should have a little advantage on that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna use flight because I actually have the potential to do better. Fight. I'm not a fighter.
Perfect.
I'm a brain guy.
I understand that.
Okay.
Okay, let's start with Rowan. What did you get?
An 8.
Perfect. And Professor Vork?
I got a 10.
Perfect. Okay. And Thalvanius, Alyssa, what did you get?
Oh no, 11.
Beautiful. Love to hear it. Okay. We'll start with Professor Brooks. Tell me how you come in and just sort of how she deals with this situation and calls Cynthia out. How would she kind of go about this?
Oh, I think Professor Brooks, tripping over the threshold of the door, just kind of like bops into it and then like opens up the door and scans over all the students. Probably says not the best at this time of the year or this time of the month, and like looks over and goes, Cynthia, oh gosh, Cynthia, come here. Oh, there you are. Hey, I need you for a second. I have a question about your paper that you have submitted. It is kind of imperative that you come with me real quickly so we can talk about it and get this all sorted out.
Okay. Somebody else. Tat. What does Cynthia look like?
Cynthia is pretty short. She has dark black hair with green highlights, matching eye color,
Okay.
bright green. Um, Thinking Wednesday Adams braids.
Okay. So Cynthia follows behind you without much fanfare. She actually kind of looks a little nervous when you get out in the hallway and is just, oh, Professor Brooks, I really tried hard on this one. I thought that after the conversation that we had that I was doing better. You know, you told me I had to put more effort in, and I really spent time looking at the star charts. And so she's actually kind of like upset at the question to like a paper of hers.
And Professor Book's like, yes, I understand that you submitted an astronomy essay, but actually, did you not look further that we also asked you to do the astrology pieces of it, where we are talking about the 3 different charts that you would have had in your neonatal pattern and how it affects yours particular date in life? Anyway, follow me. We must go over this way because you must. If you had done your paper properly, you would have predicted the fact that I had done this from your astrology pieces. And then she just like keeps walking this way.
I love it. Okay. Perfect. I am going to have Alyssa. So you're going to enter a couple minutes after this happens. I'm going to say that right now there's not a overseeing professor to, you know what, because it seems canon to me, Thelvanius was actually supposed to be overseeing this particular detention, but he
crap.
forgot. And so you're just going to kind of breeze in and tell me how you want to kind of confront these. And I will say all of these people have been put in detention specifically for either having or handing out contraband. So they would all be either connected or with the LBG.
Okay. So the first thing he's gonna do before they even get there is he's gonna like, cause Itzy's more than likely with Reggie somewhere doing something stupid. So he's gonna send a kind of like a little link to him, be like detention, and so that way he'll meet him there.
Okay.
And bring Reggie, and um, and then I will like kind of like walk in to kind of like slam open the door, but not like loudly, just enough to get people to look. And then he's gonna walk in, and I think he's going to have that I'm here to like get information, and then look around and go, oh shit. I was supposed to be here anyway. Oh, and kind of like, and then you'll kind of like see some of the energy kind of like come out of him, just be like, oh, okay. And then he'll keep walking up. And then I assume it's kind of like a classroom thing, so he's just gonna kind of sit on the desk and then just stare at them awkwardly until Itzy comes in and kind of like alights on his shoulder. And for those that don't know, Itzy's my raven. When I got him, he was a bit like a runt, and now he's this like 2.5 foot tall, largest raven you've ever seen. Like to the point when he sits on my shoulder, it actually kind of like a shoulder goes down. And then just kind of look at him, and is Reggie on his way? And then he'll nod or whatever, and then he'll just kind of wait for Reggie to show up while glaring at the kids.
Okay. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Reggie and Itzy can communicate. Like they have figured out a way to basically like talk to one another, similar to how like you and Itzy kind of communicate.
Yeah, or they'll rudely talk through me to each other.
I love
And
that.
like depending on how I'm not paying attention, sometimes I'll just like automatically respond for them, and then after a few minutes like stop it, kind of thing.
I love it. What did you specifically tell Itzy to communicate to Reggie before he came here? Like what? How
Just
do you?
to come along with him, to follow him.
Okay. Did you give him any like explicit instructions to like cause chaos on his entry? Was there any sort of like
No,
thought process? You
just-
just wanted them there.
Yeah, with him there, yeah.
Okay. I am gonna say in very Reggie style, I feel like he like pops up from one of the tables, like in front of one of the students with like no warning, and is just sort of like, "Hey," makes like the two girls at that table just like totally fall over their chairs.
And then is like, I know I'm waiting for Cynthia to come in. Are like they coming in pretty close, or like do I know that they're gonna wait a little bit longer?
Yes, that is the follow up. So, Professor Vork, you have changed your appearance. You look as this student now. Identical. Nobody putting the two of you together, you'd be like identical twins. I'll say that you haven't had Cynthia in one of your classes this year. They didn't re-sign up, but you had them previously. So you know enough about their mannerisms that you could pass. So once you see Professor Brooks taking them in the opposite direction, you give kind of like a 2-3 minute and then are able to go in. So I'd say right about after Reggie scared these two students is about when the Vork Cynthia is going to come in.
Vinthia.
Yeah, I think he Vinthia. Yeah.
Yeah.
He takes a little extra time and is like kind of struggling with the clothing, which is always the challenge. I can change my physicality, but the clothes are a challenge. But he has a special coat, so he pulls off his shirt in a like his hair goes like in a big arc like this, and tosses it back, and he takes his shirt and he pulls it inside out through the sleeve 2 or 3 times, and each time he pulls it through, it sort of changes into a different styling of clothing. And as he gets it, he's like, "Ah, yes, very good," and puts it on, and it's a close match to what Cynthia had. Maybe not his best work under the circumstances, but
Sure.
she makes it
really
work.
cool.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, so she heads in back to the detention area.
Perfect. So our Vinthia enters, and Thelvanius, you kind of know that that's like your high sign. You can start going about however you'd like.
Oh, Miss Duclaw, have a seat.
Will do.
Y'all know.
Thank you.
Y'all
Sorry.
know why you're here. And I am enraged as to why you would use the library.
The sacred
You all
library.
know my proclivity to the lemon powder. It's not a secret. But why the library? Why are you using my safe space for your dirty deeds?
Vork, give me a brains while Alyssa continues.
From now on, the library is not allowed. Reggie here is now got a real job.
No.
Reggie, you are now my library monitor. You will rat them out in the just speediest manner if they use my library again. Stop it!
I love this so much.
And then I think I'm just gonna go and sit and just like give them these looks of like almost like I think it just goes between heartbreak that they just defiled his safe space
Yes.
and enraged that like they would just use him like he's just taking this so personally So he's just gonna sit there and then just kind of like have a silent conversation back and forth with Itzy and just honestly ignore them and then probably pull out his book and go back to like reading about the ley lines and forget why he was there.
100%, all in character. Mark, what did we get for our brains check?
Got a 4.
Okay. You're quite taken for a moment by Thelvanius because I don't think you've ever seen Thelvanius even raise his voice. Like, he's always been very, like, you've seen him impassioned. Like, you've seen him really excited about a subject or like about a new book or something. This is different. Like, this is, you know that this is kind of like a ruse, but you also see that there's like genuine hurt here. And so like for a moment, Vork is very like taken, like, oh wow, I've never seen this side of Thelvanius. Like, whew. And then you remember that you're here for a reason. And you, out of the corner of your eye, you see 2 students, a boy and a girl. Taller Asian boy, dark messy hair, shorter blonde haired girl, has got like a pixie cut. And they, when you hear Thelvanius give that like, how could you do this to the library kind of line, both of them look so guilty. Like their shoulders hunch in, and like the girl like glances up at the boy, and like the boy kind of like pats her shoulder a little bit. Like you just catch this sort of like quick interaction between the two of them.
I think seeing that, Vinthia will sort of scoot down the bench or the wherever we're sitting. Like, hey, guys, kind of like tuck her braids back behind her ears a little bit. You guys know anything about you're looking guilty. What do you know what what's with the library? Is something going on there?
Okay, we will jump to that in just a second. So, in one of the abandoned classrooms that I'm sure exist in this castle, Professor Brooks, you have led the real Cynthia into one of these classrooms. Quentin, Z, and Professor Gale are waiting. And how do you guys want to approach this? Do we have a good cop? Do we have a bad cop? Do we have a clueless cop? What do we got?
Gale is maybe wanting to be bad cop, but not like. But I don't know. We don't have to go with that strategy. But
Okay. Quentin, what are you thinking? How are you wanting to approach that?
Well, I'm the least dangerous here, that's for sure. So I can be a good cop.
Okay. Okay. And then I think Z is just gonna play hype person at this point. They see this, like, even though Gale's not like tall or anything, like they cut an imposing figure kind of similarly to like Yara does. So I imagine that like she's looking at that, and then she's looking at Quentin, who not only just had this wildly successful extracurricular class, but like who the students do genuinely like and that sort of thing. And so she's just kind of like, yeah, I'm not battling with either of those. I'm gonna be the like point holder in the background kind of thing. So
there.
So Brooks, you lead Cynthia in. Do you give any sort of preamble? Do you let your fellow faculty kind of take over? What are you thinking?
So as we are like approaching the door, Brooks goes, and anyway, all of this to say is, if you knew that your paper was going to be a particular problem, you would have known that I would have taken off massive points. But thankfully, I do have some extra credit for you. In fact, if you are able to perhaps elucidate someone of us of some of the goings on in the society, something the stars potentially have told you, and she opens up the door to these two, perhaps a little bit about the reason you're in detention to begin with, then perhaps we might be able to help you out a little bit. And then she looks at to like the three there, gives double pistols and a wink, and then close the door and stands up against it.
Um, I like to think that we picked a specific classroom that is a little bit darker and has like kind of interrogation room. I imagine it's a little darker, has like one table and like four chairs or something. Probably, I don't know.
Basically, like
One
one
chair
of the
in the
lights are
center, and we all
out.
sit around them.
Love
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Um, Currently, Gale is sitting in one of the chairs, just like with their hands crossed and their eyes closed, just waiting.
Okay. Quentin, do you want to approach or greet
No, I'm
Cynthia?
standing. I'm standing menacingly, my head down, 'cause my hat covers my eyes. I'm scratching my beard, waiting for him to walk in.
Okay. So Cynthia looks around, kind of realizes what's happening, and then immediately gets like that very deer in the headlights look across her face. And that just like stereotypical student got caught red handed, oh shit kind of thing. And so she kind of like shuffles over to the table, like sits across from you guys. I feel like Z was like back away from you guys a little bit, and then like when Brooke shows up, she kind of like scurries over to the door and just like kind of like bumps shoulders with her, and is kind of like, "Your friends are kind of scary."
You're more than welcome to stay with me outside if you would like. It does take 2 people to guard the door.
Yes, yes, yes. That sounds smart. They'll be okay, right?
Oh,
Have a
absolutely.
seat, Cynthia.
Okay. So she sits down kind of slowly, like she's sort of like biding her time a little bit. She's trying to like figure out the play here, but she sits and she sort of like just places her hands in front of her on the table. And is like, Professor Quentin, I don't think that I've met you yet.
You haven't, but you know of me, and you know that I'm not the guy that's going to be able to extract anything, of the magical variety out of you. So I'm wanting you to tell me the truth. Where are you getting your supplies?
Well, we get things from different people. I'm not sure that there's, one source.
Oh, come on, you can do better than that.
What makes you think I'm going to sell out my friends?
Because if you don't, well, Professor over there is going to point his little magic stick at you and start tinkering around in your brain.
She looks over at the other professor who she also does not actually know, but who's just
Yep.
sitting there in like a meditative stance.
Yep. At this point in the conversation, Gale is going to open their eyes, and what was previously white, peaceful, calm rolling clouds appears as a thunderstorm within their eyes.
And you don't want them poking around in your brain.
Okay.
And
It's quite shocking.
Give
you,
Go ahead.
oh, sorry,
No, go ahead.
okay, you and your friends, whoever they are doing things you should not be, which I'm very sure you are aware of. And regardless of whether it is something that is against the rules or not, it is something that, even though it is not your intention, could get you and others hurt. And that is not something that we, as your professors, want to happen. We are here to protect you, even if that means protecting you from yourselves. So tell us what's going on.
Okay. Tat, give me a charm. Or I'll give you a choice. You can do charm or flight because you're kind of on the fly here. Josh, give me either a fight or a grit, whichever one.
I'm gonna go with grit. I got a 12 for grit.
Okay. What'd you get, Tat?
I'm grabbing a d12 real quick.
10-4. Looking for better than an 8 because that's what she rolled for her grit.
It's 10. A 10.
Perfect. So you two watch this, again, probably like middle classman, not like upperclassman, definitely not newbie. You see her kind of like fold her arms and listen and lean back, and you see the thought process like go over her face. The like, can I get away with this? Can I play this? Can I spin this? All the different forms of going through the phases of getting in trouble with a superior person. And then she kind of finally slumps and she's like, okay, look, I'm not the person that's going to be able to get you very useful information. I just help run the stuff. If we were looking at this like a cartel ring, I'm like one of the mules. I can tell you that there are 2 drop points that we pick up items and we hand them out. And if we have unused items, we're supposed to leave them there again. And that happens twice a week. Be very real with both of you. That is the extent of the information.
What are these drop points?
So she tells you that there's 1 drop point. It's outside the castle. You've got a large sand ring where brooms is taught. And then there's a structure where there's like sports supplies, things like that. And behind that structure is one of the drop points. The second one is down the hall from the library. There's like a reading alcove. You guys actually know it's one of Thalvanius's favorite places. It's sort of like this little window seat with like extra cushions, and there's like storage underneath the window seat. And so like those storage cabinets are also one of the drop points.
You can feel Thalvana's rage from here.
Thalvanius just has like this, like someone walked over his grave, goosebumps, like they are using my favorite spot.
Yeah, like in the classroom, he probably just was like, and another thing.
It's dead silent, like everyone's finally kind of calmed down, and then just like, and another thing. Speaking of, jumping back to that classroom, so our Vinthia, so they've already kind of felt a little bit guilty. You ask them this question, and they kind of like make eye contact. The girl kind of like opens her mouth, and then the guy like kind of puts his hand on her arm and like shakes his head, and you kind of catch this interaction. You have 2 ways you can go about this. You can try and charm them, which I'm sure is your preferred. You can also try and give a fight to kind of like impose upon them. So whichever one of those you'd like to go about, just tell me how you're going to try and convince them to tell you.
Yeah, let's go with charm.
Sure.
Try and be charming about it. Yeah. Oh, hey, that's a 20. Explosion.
Bow.
Pew, pew, pew. So that is a total of 30.
Love that. I adore that for me. As opposed into the shifter game where you couldn't roll for crap that entire game. When
Nope.
we did Kids on Brooms. Okay, so tell me how Vinthia sort of like appeals to them. How does she sort of charm them into agreeing with her?
I think she sort of like she is kind of like getting closer to them and sort of like trying to be a little bit secretive. And I think she mentions that Benjamin has told her that we need to sort of like scale things back. And is trying to be like quite secretive about it, and is like, yeah, Benji, Benjamin, however you want to. Anyway, I think, like you heard Professor Thelvanus just now, they're really kind of pissed at us for like using the library and stuff, and we got to scale it back. And I think we just need to I don't know, he wants to know what else is going on in there, and he asked me to kind of cool things off. I guess I don't know.
As soon as you say Benjamin, the girl, the one with the blonde pixie cut, she, like, her shoulders like hunched. She's like, oh goodness, okay, yeah, he's got us on lemon drop duty. We have been for the last like 2 weeks, but I've been noticing that Professor Thelvanius is like getting more and more irritated no matter how much of the lemon powder that we drop for him. I'm so glad that Benji decided to kind of like reel back. I was really worried about that. And I mean that was scary. I've never seen the professor like that. They're usually one of the calmest, a little airheaded, but like in the best way possible. And so she kind of is like, I'm actually really concerned because we were supposed to go straight here from detention to do another like bribe drop. But I don't think that's a good idea. So, I mean, did he call this one off? Did he say we shouldn't do this one?
I think we should. Yeah. I don't know if you've heard any of the rumors, but it's getting a little hot. We might have a little more attention than we want.
And the taller Asian kid, he's gonna kind of like cross his arms real gruffly, and he's like, "Oh, you talking about the stupid other group, the dairy-free dodos or whatever? Like, come on."
Well, they actually I've read a little bit about like what they're talking about. They kind of seem like they might be onto something. I don't really know. I haven't tried it, of course, but like maybe it's worth looking into. I don't know. In any case, Benji told me that if anything, if you're stuck with the product, you can't drop it or anything. Professor Vork can arrange for an alternative if you need. You can find him in his office.
Okay, yeah, maybe we can bring that to him. I really don't think we should do the drop today. I mean, especially with as upset as Professor Thelvanius is. I mean, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, he might actually die of like seeing a book get wet or something. I don't know, but I'd hate to. He's a nice enough guy. Don't want to cause him any harm. This is just a bit of fun.
Absolutely. Okay, so you guys have gotten some pretty great information. I'm gonna say calls the end of detention. Probably like Thelvanius, like in forgetting that they were even supposed to be here, like doesn't even know how long this is supposed to be. Like just gets mad enough at some point. It's like, you know what, just leave, just go away. I'm done with all of you.
Yeah. Or really, like Reggie comes up and is like, "Dude, we've been here for like an hour. Can we go?" Their attention span is not this long.
Right. Absolutely. No, 100%. And then you guys, so you call it Vinthia. How do you want to try and take the product from these people? Are you going to try and have them to go to Professor Vork? What is your play? Like, what do you want to, you rolled high enough on charm that pretty much whatever you want them to do at this point, you can kind of direct them that way.
I think Vork is probably gonna try to have them, like instead of making the drop at the planned location, kind of like change it mid-flight to sort of stash it in his office, maybe.
Okay. Do you, especially because that with detention being kind of let out, the real Cynthia at some point is going to come back. Do you want to make kind of a quick escape? Are you going to kind of like stay behind to talk to Professor Thelvanius? Which route do you feel is going to be easiest?
Yeah, can I stay back? I guess is the is the hallway sort of like filling with students right now, or is there like, can I leave? Is there like a place to?
No, you're good. So this
out?
is within its own classroom. So they would have to go out to the hallway to actually like leave. So if you wanted to just stay behind until everyone left and use it as like, oh, hey, Professor Thalvanius, then you can absolutely do that.
And is Professor Thalvanus still in this room?
Probably.
He's probably upset. Yeah. Thalvanius, how is Thalvanius feeling right now? A lot of things just happened.
I think the fact that they were like using, like, I don't think he knows about the alcove yet, so when they tell him they've been using his alcove, he's probably gonna lose it again. But the fact that it's even library adjacent is just so, I think, like, just, I think he feels like violated, like his trust in these kids, like, because he's on the lemon side of this, like, he's like, I think I don't know if he's like, I don't know what the situation is or how he gets it, like, he doesn't give them extra credit or anything like that, like, he doesn't do bribery or anything, but like, maybe like I gives them help in other classes or
Maybe you should
you know what I
extort
mean, like,
a little fee on the use of your library.
Right.
yeah, like, like he's
You guys
so
are gonna
hurt.
keep using my shit.
Yes, he's just like
I
he's
want
just
in on
so
it.
hurt right now.
And I feel like as everyone kind of like convenes back, I'm gonna say everyone's gonna kind of convene to the detention classroom. So you guys kind of start passing around information of just like what's been accumulated and talked about. And I feel like Z's gonna kind of pipe up and sort of like try and kind of put her hand like very gently because she understands how upsetting this is, but like on Thelvanius's like elbow and just kind of be like, I wonder if perhaps they in their head they thought that perhaps leaving this for you was like a trade. Maybe it's not malicious or bribery, but perhaps they thought that this was like a tit for tat sort of situation. I always want to try and think the best of people, and especially children who haven't quite learned bad habits yet. Maybe a while back, someone figured out that you had a proclivity for the lemon, and they just sort of thought this was like fair for using. It's still inappropriately. I totally agree. Totally agree. Especially without your explicit consent. Consent is very, very important in any good relationship, and is important in life as well. But what I mean is that maybe they meant it as a good thing.
Right. What Z said.
I think Vinthia has changed back to Vork.
And does Vork
and he
take
says,
the redhead that he was kind of doing? Does he decide to take a different shape?
no, I think he goes back to the redhead with the long hair, curly, deep V. He pulls his shirt through a couple of times and puts it back on. And he says, "Aye, Thalvanus, I think it was meant as not a bribe. It's such a, it's an ugly word, but as an offering of thanks, maybe. I think the students knew you liked it, like Z said, and wanted to thank you. I don't know."
So Dalvanus is really conflicted right now because he totally has a student that supplies him with lemon powder.
Wholeheartedly.
like on the down low.
Uh-huh.
And so he's just like, no, it was one student. That was it. Like, they betrayed my trust. Like, I have a relationship with one student that gets me like powder.
It's mutually
They are
beneficial.
using this against me.
I love that. I love that so much. Poor Thelvanius. Okay.
Are we
Go ahead.
currently still in the interrogation room or the detention room, or have we gone back to the library?
You guys are currently in the detention room. You've come from the interrogation room. You've let Cynthia go. You've got the best information out of her that you could, and you've now reconvened to the detention room. So everybody's in this classroom together.
Okay. Seeing as distressed as Thelvanius currently is, um, would you like a cup of tea, or would that be the wrong thing to help you right now?
I think I'm going coffee. Like,
I think at this
Oh,
point,
no.
Professor Brooke just like hands the giant thermos of coffee over to Thalvanius and goes, "I left a couple sips for you."
Has it gone cold?
No, absolutely not. This thermos is like triple bazillion times insulated to keep it just hot enough. Just
what
hot.
kind of coffee is it?
It's black.
So yeah, I think he goes from like, I don't know, some sort of like, I don't know, tea, like it probably doesn't have that much caffeine in it compared to like black coffee. So he probably takes a couple sips of it and is just kind of like, oh, okay, that's kind of takes some getting used to. Thank you so much. And then I think he just hands back the thermos and just like, maybe I'll just stick to water.
Well, I could always put like sugar or some milk or something in it. I think if you cut a little bit the acidity with something else, you might have a better chance with it. Maybe we can look for some of those almonds to milk the titties off of and add some sugar to it.
But then I'm
Just like a solid.
participating another club that's gonna use my library.
Just no one's allowed to use the library anymore. The library's closed indefinitely. No more.
Yeah.
You need to apply for a permit.
Otherwise known as a library card.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't allow all access.
Nope. Not anymore.
Thelvanius is
They're
going to
gonna have to
start
put up with
magicking.
Reggie as an escort.
Yeah. You start putting charms on the library cards, so if they have like malintent, they're not going to be allowed into the library. Okay. So you guys have gained quite a bit of helpful information. Professor Vork, how much of your interaction would you like to share with the other professors?
None of it.
Okay, perfect. Love it. I love that so much. So, you guys, again, you share all the information. I will give Thelvanius a chance because you know that Vork, as Cynthia, was attempting to get information. Do you think, and it's going to be a 50-50 here because I understand that he's very upset. Do you think that he would ask if Vork got anything?
I think he would ask Reggie, who is sitting next to them,
Okay.
if anything was said.
I can work with that. Let me...
So, Reggie, did you learn anything interesting?
So Reggie is sort of floating a little bit, like he kind of goes back and forth between like walking like a normal person and like floating around, and he's just the epitome of like this poltergeist chaos kind of thing. So I'm imagining right now he's sort of like doing like midair somersaults. He's really bored of this whole thing. Like you just gave him permission to go start like creating chaos based off of people in the library. He'd much rather be doing that. But then like when you ask him the question, he kind of perks up and he's like, "Oh well, the blonde chick was talking about the lemon that they were supposed to drop for you, but that they don't want to now, and there was something about a student that I don't really care about that may or may not have been the one in charge of doing the drops. I don't know. There was a lot of information. Things are supposed to be put in Vork's office, right? And that's the gist you're gonna get out of this person."
What? I don't think they're my normal drop That's not my drop student. So then I'm gonna probably look at Professor Vork and be like, "What is he talking about?"
I've no clue, lass. Am I somehow implicated in this? Somebody trying to frame me?
I
Reggie
think-
just said that they were talking about putting stuff in your class.
Oh, aye. That's news to me, it is.
I think Professor Brooke is gonna suss that out. Can I suss that out?
Yeah,
That sounds
absolutely.
shady.
Yeah, can I is that a brains check or?
Yes, it would be a brains. I'm gonna let you guys do a combined, and Vork, you're gonna give a charm. So they're gonna have a little bit advantage on you because it's a combined one, but I'm gonna let you roll with advantage again. So
Okay.
That's a
Oh
crit.
no. Oh no.
I also crit. Get crit on.
Yes.
okay,
Okay, so that was 18.
Producer Dash Tash here. Can you help me roll? Here.
I believe in you, Dash Dash.
18 plus 13, 30, what, 31? No,
Ooh.
21.
Okay, okay,
I got a 13, so
okay.
add that on.
So that's a 44 in totality. What did Vork get?
Ooh.
Work rolled a 6. Well, 3 plus 3. So
We love it. We love it. Now to set the scene here, and one of my favorite little tidbits that we came up with Professor Vork at character creation in our session 0. Professor Vork can take these different shapes. Canonically, they go out into the world on sabbatical, and they will sometimes become like historical figures, and then they'll just like disappear after they're done with the world. Things like Elvis and Amelia Earnhardt, names that people know in history, and Vork just sees them as past lifetimes that they've enjoyed. But I believe even with changing their face and even with having this charm about them that can kind of get anything that they want, they have a tell. What do you think would be Vork's tell when they've kind of run to the end of their charm?
I think Vork will, in sort of like feeling like he's getting cornered in his stories when they're like overlapping in a way that he can't maneuver out of anymore. He like puts his hair back or hand back through his hair and kind of like holds the back of his head as he's like sort of mentally doing the gymnastics of finding a thread out of the little mess he's woven for himself. So yeah, he pushes his hair back and closes his eyes for a second. Am I being framed here?
Yeah, no, I remember that tell. That tells something that I remember quite a lot. I think every single person that I've ever seen even has done that tell before. You were pushing the dairy free gang quite a lot earlier. Perhaps I might be reading too much into it. And somebody please stop me if I was reading too much into it. But do you have something to do with this, Professor Cork? And they stop. Or she stops and looks you deep in the eyes, goes, "You can tell us. Promise. We won't say
Kind
anything."
of looks all of you in the eyes, kind of sighs. You've got me. I wanted to, that the lemon butter gang was getting out of hand. It was all over the place, and the headmaster was getting genuinely upset about the whole thing. It was supposed to be just we like a little bit of lemon, a little butter on our toast. It's not a crime, But the headmaster, I went right off the wall. So I thought, hey, maybe I could make a small faction so we could still have our butter. I'm still working on the lemon bit. But maybe we could overtake their territory and replace it with something unharmful. The students and the faculty, we still get our butter. I thought it would be harmless, honestly. So yeah, I started it. I found out about the wee milk tatties, the almond tatties, and I thought it'd be. Hi.
If ever I get to a point where we can have merch about this game, we almond tattoos needs to be on a shirt.
Yeah.
I would also like to see almonds with cleavage.
Yes, yeah.
That would. Yeah.
You could do like that shell peel, like that brown shell peeling down like into the cleave. Yep.
I gotta draw stuff, guys. Damn it.
Sorry.
No, don't ever
Oh
be sorry.
no! Darn.
Okay.
No.
Thalvanius, you rolled high enough that I'm going to give you just one other tidbit of information, especially as Vork goes on to speak. They are being truthful about what they're saying, but they are still holding back. You see, when they come to the end of their statement, as they're talking about the dairy free and everything like that, they do that tell just one more time, and actually they catch themselves. Like they start to do it, and then they sort of like correct. And you catch on to that because of how high you rolled, Alyssa.
Framing implies innocence.
Aye.
So now that we know you're not being framed, you're actually like in charge of this.
Well, just of the new the dairy free opposition. Is it? I didn't come up with that name, but I do like it. It's quite catchy.
Yeah. Wh-
Anyhow,
why are they? Why you? Something's still missing from this. And you're doing your tell, even though you're catching yourself. You're getting good at it. But what?
Elvanus. Remember the first conversation we had where we talked about the miniature things, where they said that they needed like a high-powered charmed magic in order to be able to pull off the miniature thingies. None of our students should have that capability. None of them should. But a professor.
And you're the summoning, and you're the summoning. It's what I think that's what clicks.
You also mentioned it was supposed to be harmless at first when you were referencing the lemon butter gang.
You, Professor Volk. You, Professor Volk, are the one you're summoning the milk, the butter, the chilies, the lemons. You're the ones that are getting back on the back of this thing. You're the one that's going behind the headmaster's back. You're the one you're providing Thalvanus with little tiny lemon packets to subdue him for the use of the library. You're the one that's doing all of this
Not
stuff.
the use of the library. Not the use of the library. Leave the library out of this.
Thalvanus, it is all Volk's fault. It's all Volk's fault.
Okay. Professor Vork, the floor is yours, my dear.
Yeah.
You have been found out.
Vork looks, the walls closing in around him. And he's like, "Ugh, aye, you've got me. It was me. I started the lemon butter gang. I wanted some butter on my toast. I was on a sabbatical in well, it doesn't matter where. And they had the most wonderful bread with butter every morning. And I came back here and I couldn't have it anymore. And I said, well, that's not going to do, is it? So I made my own, and then I thought I could have a bit of fun, and it's harmless. It's butter. But then the headmaster was right twisted about the whole thing, and anyway, now it's gone out of hand, and Sylvanus, I'm deeply sorry. I thought we were uh, giving you enough to. I realize now it's no good, and now it's gone right out of control. I tried to make this other gang to take over their. Anyway, it's a mess. I'm sorry. It was
We-
fun though.
We understand that you had the best of intentions here, Vork.
Hi.
Sure.
We believe that you never meant it to get this far.
No, and I
Professor
tried
Bork,
to.
why did you not just enlist the rest of the rest of the faculty? I swear we could have got this under wraps from you. None of us are snitches, especially none of these four.
Right,
We
and
could have
now
done it instead of involving the students. Oh my gosh.
and now what you've invited is you've invited us to the privilege to have our supplies for free now. Thank you.
Why is fine.
Ooh,
It's no
guys were
problem.
paying?
Of course.
wow.
Yeah. It was always just a bit of fun, and then as
Right.
soon as the students grabbed hold of it, it got right uncontrollable. I thought it was just. Anyway,
You can.
I think you
How
need
many
to make a
students know
class
you were
about it.
the supplier?
none of them, of course. That's the benefit of being me, as it were.
Then
He
then it's
will
easy
sort of
just
look
to-
around.
Then it's easy to just cut them off, make them go dry,
Go.
and you just supply us, and we'll keep it hush hush.
Or
Guarantee
we get above table. Because then there's no contraband if it's legal.
I think the headmaster will have something to say about that, though. He seems.
But if it's not butter, like, we can call it something else.
Oh,
like
I've heard
margarine.
this one. No, it's called I Can't Believe It's Nae Butter. It's amazing. It looks like butter. It tastes like butter, but it's nae butter. It's great.
What's it made out of?
I don't know.
It's gotta be the almond titties again.
Yeah. I can't think of anything else. It could be.
Does damn it
Definitely
almond
almond
titties.
Yeah.
They keep going.
Okay, my loves. Well, we have accomplished everything that I wanted to accomplish this evening and more, because I truly did not think that the wee almond tatties needed to be in my brain, but here we are. You guys can absolutely dissolve this, recreate it however you as the faculty see fit. But the mystery of the Lemon Butter Gang has been brought to light, has been brought forward as but a lark from our dear Professor Vork, who just thought that it was unfair that it was something that was banned from your hallowed halls. So however you guys wish to sort of, again, dissolve, come to an agreement, call it something else, and just have it be above board. I think we agreed in like game 2 that if you say butter wrong, the headmaster doesn't catch on. It's like some in canon. But yeah.
Good saying, but yeah. Hero, Professor Brooke offers to be the mule. Because who's gonna suspect a dog? Wolf thing.
A dog is a mule? Never.
A dog's not a mule. A dog's a dog.
Yeah. That's different.
Yeah. Um, before, so Gail is gonna look over to Vork and just, I understand, or we understand. Uh, we know what it's like to light a spark and then see it become an uncontrollable blaze. So,
I
thank you for owning up to it when you did and allowing us to work with you to fight it.
I'm
Hey,
only I'm only sorry it got so far. I should have come to you sooner.
Yeah, now that the Great Butter Mystery is solved. Hey, Z, wasn't there something about some treasure you got overheard you guys talking about out on the beach?
Oh, yeah. And that seems like a really good place to end our game for the evening. uh, thank you so much, Mark, for not only joining us. It is always a pleasure to run and play with you. Any of our listeners who don't know, or anyone who goes back to listen to this, myself and Mark are actually on another real play podcast called System Shifters. He plays Grayson, our favorite mathlete who is scared of the dark, but not scared of standing up
Yep.
for his friends and lots of other things that happen. Feel free to, check that out. We're on pretty much every streaming. You can also find us on Talking Crit, our Discord, and everything in between. But it was a pleasure to have you bring Professor Vork to life this evening. I could not have asked for better.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was a blast.
The Great Butter
Awesome.
Caper solved.
Yes.
Yep.
I also need
Lemon
everyone to
butter
know that this was done within 24 hours because I had a totally different game planned for Jess. And then Vork was actually supposed to come in with a totally different end cap to that adventure. And so I had 2 bullet points about the lemon butter gang. And I was looking at it for like 20 minutes at work when I was trying to like figure out, and Mark had told me he could come play. And I was like, okay, cool. So what if Vork did this? This is where I'm at.
Yep.
Makes
Well,
sense.
good job.
Good job, Vork.
Yeah.
Good job,
It was
Emma.
awesome.
That
We had
was
fun.
beautiful. I loved it. We're going to go ahead and sign off the stream. So, as always, we say bye, stream.
See you, stream.
Bye.
Bye, stream.